Good evening and welcome to this edition of The List on UWW-TV. I'm Dominic Ottens alongside Corey Moen, and for the next few minutes we'll present our top 5 sports stories of the week and discuss why they made our top 5. Did your top 5 make our list? Let's find out. At number 5, we have the NFL and Dak Prescott with the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott signing a 4-year, $160 million extension with the Cowboys. Now, Corey, what does Dallas expect out of Dak Prescott with his new deal?
I think they're expecting Dak Prescott to perform like the top 10 quarterback he had before. But Dom, I gotta tell you, this was a massive overpay. I don't think Dak Prescott's skills are gonna be like they were before.
I think that this is, and I'm gonna have to agree with you on that. That it is a little bit of a push, a little bit of, and maybe a little too much for this quarterback. I know that there was pressure from around the league. You sign quarterbacks such as Patrick Mahomes to this super deal. I mean, and Dak is sitting over here kind of like, okay, what's going to happen with me? So I think there was a little bit of pressure from around the league to sign him. Now, my concern is that we saw that the Cowboys weren't exactly winning games without him. The NFC East was kind of a little bit of a down year for them, if we could say that. But they weren't exactly winning games with him either. He put up numbers, he did, but there wasn't the help on defense that the Cowboys needed. So my question for the Cowboys is that should they have spent all this money on Dak and trying to get him into this organization, or should they focus more on the other aspects that they were struggling with in the first place? So they have the offensive weapons, but I don't think this was the money that they should have spent on Dak.
Now let's transition. At number 4, the Wisconsin Badgers are number 9 seed in the NCAA tournament with tough opponents ahead. What are your predictions on their outcome in the tournament?
Man, this is a tough year, and March Madness never gets easier. But this is a Wisconsin Badgers team that is very inexperienced when it comes to the NCAA tournament. There was one year that they missed under Greg Gard, and then obviously last year with COVID, it was canceled, and now this year they finally have an opportunity to make it. But they've struggled. I mean, they have talent. But North Carolina is a good team. They're experienced with Roy Williams as head coach. So I think that they could slide by North Carolina in the first round, but I don't see them making it out of the round of 32.
Dom, I have to disagree with you there. The Badgers have been very inconsistent all year, and they have not beaten a team in the tournament since January 27th, where they were able to knock off Maryland. You know, they just haven't performed up to standards. They haven't been able to shoot. Offensive rebounding has been a bit of an issue, and I just think that North Carolina is going to provide a matchup nightmare inside.
The ACC is very well known for making their runs in the NCAA tournament, so I think we're going to find out exactly what this North Carolina team is made out of, as well as the Badgers. The Badgers are very heavily senior-led. They have a bunch of seniors in their starting lineup, and they're going to be missing a lot of talent next year. So maybe this is the added pressure that the Badgers need, though, with them losing a lot of their starting 5, Nate Reavers, Brad Davidson, Dimitri Trice, this may provide the push that they need to give for the whole team to rally and kind of give these seniors one last push after missing last year. This is something that I know that the Badgers have been striving for. They did earn a spot here. It wasn't given to them. They did a good job in the Big Ten tournament of making a push, but we're going to have to find out, obviously, come time the tournament. But we're going to have to take a short commercial break, but we've got more coming up, including Aaron Jones staying with the Packers and signing a contract with them. So we'll be right back.
UWW-TV has been an important part of the campus and community since 1980.
Not only providing on-air learning opportunities for broadcast journalists and electronic media production students,
but educating and entertaining our audiences with award-winning news, live sports coverage, original programming,
as well as dedicating the mission to developing creative collaborations throughout campus.
For more information, visit our website, our 24/7 stream, and like us on Facebook.
Check us out because you gotta see what's on UWW-TV.
The James R. Conner University Center on UW-Whitewater's campus is a gathering place for students of various cultures, backgrounds, and lifestyles. The UC is a great source for information, campus tickets, meetings, entertainment, food, gallery exhibits, workshops, and all of your hot card needs. Whether you're looking for a place to study between classes or just a place to hang out with friends, the UC is the place for you. For more information on the UC, please visit uc.uww.edu or go to facebook.com/uc.uww.
Practicing social distancing is imperative to maintaining safety in the residence halls this year in lounges and common areas. For kitchens and laundry rooms, we have capped occupancy at 2 students in these spaces at any given time. Students will not be allowed to wait for their laundry in the laundry rooms, and if 2 students are already in the space switching laundry, please wait outside for one to leave. We ask that those using these spaces are efficient with their time, so all students have the option to use the common areas as needed. We thank you in advance for your cooperation.
Welcome back to the list on UWW-TV. Let's continue the countdown to this week's top sports stories. At number 3, the Green Bay Packers keep running back Aaron Jones as they come to a 4-year contract agreement worth $48 million. How much of an impact does Aaron Jones make in the Packers offense?
Corey, I'd have to say that he has made a very big impact on the Packers offense, and now I'm happy to say that he will probably continue to make an impact on the offense. He's really opened up opportunities for Rodgers. He's given him options underneath. He's a running back that doesn't necessarily have too much power. He's not necessarily like Derrick Henry, but he has the ability to move sideline to sideline and be elusive when it comes to dodging tackles and breaking tackles as well. Now, I think he'll go great with A.J. Dillon. Now, A.J. Dillon is definitely the running back that you would compare to Derrick Henry. He's that power guy that you're going to be looking for. So having both options in the backfield for the Packers is going to open up a ton for Aaron Rodgers. And I would not be surprised if the Packers continue to have the number 1 offense in the league.
Dom, I agree with you. Aaron Jones does have a massive role in the offense, but this was a massive overpay. Look, you can't just let guys like Jamal Williams and A.J. Dillon go. Okay, I think those guys are matchup nightmares. I think that those are the type of guys who will wear a defense out in the 4th quarter. And Aaron Jones, while he's a good running back, he got beaten up. He got beaten up this year, and this was not a good move for the Packers. And just letting Jamal Williams walk will be costly.
Well, we're going to have to see come season, but hopefully they'll get something together without Jamal Williams being there. But moving on to our number 2 story of the week, Duke and Kentucky both missed the NCAA tournament for the first time since 1976. Now, what went wrong for these teams, and what is a tournament going to look like without them?
Well, I think Duke just had COVID issues in their program, and but the main issue for them is them and Kentucky both like to do one and dones. Jalen Johnson didn't pan out as much as they hoped. Kentucky, however, just couldn't find a consistent starting lineup, and that hurt them as well.
Now, it's good that you bring up the one and done teams, Corey, because I have never been a fan of programs that produce these one and done players, and Duke and Kentucky are the prime example of it. Now, I won't deny that they bring in some great talent and that the national championships that they have are deserved, but I'm happy to see some other teams like Gonzaga, Baylor, and Illinois be able to step up and kind of take control of this tournament. So I'm looking forward to the differences that we're going to see this year.
Stay tuned. We'll wrap up this edition of the list with our number 1 story of the week right after this.
Warhawks know what it takes to become champions. At the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, our student athletes pursue excellence with a determination that inspires everyone on campus. Warhawks are smart. Warhawks are strong. Warhawks value service. We prepare our student athletes for life after college. The University of Wisconsin-Whitewater. Come be part of the Warhawk family.
Turn us on. Flip them off. 91.7 WSUW. 91.7 is a student-run radio station serving the Whitewater area with a variety of original programs, live sports broadcasting, community events, and more. So turn us on 91.7 FM or stream us live at 917theedge.com.
UW Whitewater Athletics, a relentless pursuit of excellence across 22 sports, powered by a tradition of success. 20 national championships, 17 since 2002. 61 individual national titles. 24 National Athletes of the Year. 616 All-Americans. 115 Conference Scholar Athletes of the Year. 1,500 community service hours annually. Be a part of the tradition and join the Warhawk family.
In order to safely provide desk services, plastic barriers will be installed at all operational residence hall desks. Student employees will wear face coverings, and any lines that occur will be spaced out via visual markers on the floor.
Welcome back to The List on UWW-TV. It's time to reveal our number one sports story of the week. At our number one spot of the week, quarterback Drew Brees announces his retirement from the NFL after playing 20 years in the league. Now, what will New Orleans do to replace their beloved quarterback, Corey?
Well, first, I think that Drew Brees is definitely a first ballot Hall of Famer, and his skills had declined in the past few years. And as for the quarterback situation, Jameis Winston will be the starter next year. I just see Taysom Hill as just a jack of all trades. I know they redid his contract, but Jameis Winston is a proven quarterback in this league.
I don't think I can full-heartedly agree with you on that one, man. Jameis Winston, he was traded out of Tampa for a reason. Like, I know that he can serve as a valuable backup, and he has to Drew Brees, but I think Taysom Hill has more to prove here. I know he's kind of a jack of all trades, but like you said, they just restructured his contract. He's getting a 4-year, $140 million deal. Now, that's just $20 million less than Dak Prescott. So I think that the Saints obviously have faith in him and his ability to step up in the quarterback position. And he did win games when Drew was out for a little bit. So they went with him over Jameis Winston. Now, I'm not totally counting him out. I'm not counting out Jameson, 100%. But I do think that Jameis had his time to prove himself when he was with Tampa. But we're just going to have to see. I wish Drew Brees the best of luck in the next chapter of his life, and I know a lot of people in the league are going to miss him. But with that will do it for this edition of The List. We'll be back next week to talk more sports headlines. For Corey Mullen, I'm Dominic Ottens. We'll see you then.